In this week's parasha, Parashat Bo, at the very end of the parasha, we're introduced to the mitzvah of Tefillin. So I wanted to speak some fun ideas about the mitzvah of Tefillin. We actually spoke out in more detail 2 years ago from the Shvilei Pinchas, a lot of these ideas, but I want to try to approach it this year from a fun, a little slightly different angle to the mitzvah of Tefillin. So a couple years ago we mentioned that the mitzvah of Tefillin actually corresponds to the Kedusha, to the holiness of our Avot. Now how does that work? We have ourselves two parts to the Tefillin. We have the Tefillin Shel Yad that we put on our hand, and the Tefillin Shel Rosh that we put on our head. And the famous question that everybody asks is, okay, why do we put the Tefillin Shel Yad onto our left hand? Normally when we do mitzvot, you do the mitzvot, you put it onto the right hand. The right hand is the stronger hand. That's what we do mitzvahs with. So why don't we tie down the tefillin onto our right hand? Why do we tie it on the left hand? So we spoke, there's a famous halachic diukim from the Psukim. It says Yadecha in the feminine, says the Shvilei Pinchas, based on the Zohar HaKadosh, says the Zohar. We all know that Abraham corresponds to the right side. The right side is the Chesed side. The left side is the Yitzchak side. It's the Gevura side. It's the justice. It's the strict dinim. That's the left side. Mystically, what are we doing when we're doing lahaniach tefillin? When we tie down our tefillin shel yad, when we tie it onto our hand, what are we doing? We're taking our right hand, we're taking the Avraham side, and we're tying down the tefillin onto the left hand, which symbolically what we're doing is we're doing the akedah. We're doing a mini akedah. Every time we put on our tefillin, where we're reenacting Avraham binding down Yitzchak, which is Avraham the right side, binding down Yitzchak the left side. We're symbolically doing that with the lehaniach tefillin, and we're awakening the zechut of the akedah with our tefillin shel yad. And we're also saying that we want to give the primacy, that we want to give the strength, the koach, to the chesed to rule over the gvura, to rule over the din, the zechut of the akedah. Okay, awesome. That's the tefillin shel yad. Now, what about the Tefillin Shel Rosh? So says the Shvilei Pinchas, Tefillin Shel Rosh, that corresponds to Yaakov. Yaakov, we know, how's he the Rosh? Because we know Yaakov is the Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. He's the guy that's sitting in the yeshiva, he's learning the yeshiva, he's working on the Rosh, he's working on his head, he's trying to learn the Torah. And we know in the back of the Tefillin, by the knot in the back, we have the two straps come together, they join in the knot. That corresponds to the joining together of Avram and Yitzchak, the Chesed side and the Gevura side. In generation 3.0, Yaakov the Tiferet, he brings together Avram and Yitzchak. That's the knot in the back. But in the very front, when we see things, what do we still see? The custom is, when we look at the straps of tefillin from the front, the right side strap is supposed to be slightly longer, because still we pray to have the koach of the chesed be stronger, be longer than the koach of the din, of the gvura, of the side of Yitzchak. Okay. But let's take the Yaakov tefillin head, the tefillin shel rosh connection, let's go a little bit deeper. We know that the night that they left Mitzrayim, that the night when he finally put his head down to go to sleep, he went to a place called Luz. And in the place called Luz, now Luz also reminds us of the Tefillin Shel Rosh, because where do we put the strap? On the Luz bone, which is in the back of the head. So Yaakov goes to this place Luz, and he goes to sleep. And he takes his head, and he puts his head on by a stone, really by 12 stones, and he has the dream of the ladders going up from his head all the way up to Kisei HaKavod, up and down, the dream of the Malachim going up and down. Beautiful. Again, it's taking us back to the Luz, to Tefillin Shel Rosh, the head going up and down. Now, what happened when he went to bed at night? So he goes to sleep at night, and he has 12 rocks around his head. But when he woke up in the morning, all of those rocks merged together, and the Midrash is telling us that those 12 rocks became one rock. So the Midrash says it's 12 rocks corresponding to his 12 sons, to the 12 tribes, and ultimately, even though in the beginning there's going to be a lot of anger, it's not going to go so well in the very beginning of the story, by the end, the 12 tribes are going to unite into one big stone. So initially, we have the brothers' relationship with Yosef. It's not good. And, there's going to be the Dibara, the evil report that he's going to bring against his father. He's going to do the tattletaling to his father, or in more modern day terms, we're going to have the snitching of Yosef to his father. And then what's going to happen? The brothers are going to come around, they're almost going to kill him. Ultimately, what are they going to do with the snitch? They're going to throw him into the ditch, they're going to throw him into the pit, and then they're going to sell him into slavery. But now, we want to get back to unity. We want to get to this place where, and it's ultimately, we're going to get there. By Matan Torah, Vayichan Sham, we're going to get to the unity. We know that with all the trouble that Yaakov had with his kids, none of them are going to be sent away. Abraham's going to send away a Yishmael, Yitzchak's going to send away an Esau, but ultimately, the 12 tribes are going to make it. The 12 separate stones are all going to become one under his head. So now one last cool idea based on this Shvilei Pinchas. If you look at the Tefillin Shel Rosh, So as opposed to the Shel Yad, where there's one parchment, the Tefillin Shel Rosh is broken into 4 sections. You can actually see it on the box. You can see that it's divided into 4 separate compartments. Now he explains the 4 separate compartments deals with the Rosh, because in the brain, in the Chonen Adat, that's where we do Havdalah, that's where we learn about nuances. And we have the Torah itself. We're going to break down and try to get deeper and deeper by understanding it, by breaking down the ideas. And that's the concept of breaking down the Torah into 4 parchments, 4 separate sections, to learn each section, understand each section. We know when we learn the Torah, there's 4 main ways to learn the Torah: the Pardes, the Pshat, the Remesh, the Drush, the Sod. The brain is what breaks it down. Now, I was thinking actually, but let's look a little differently. If you take the 4 might correspond to Yaakov's 4 wives, to the 4 family subunits: the Bnei Leah, the Bnei Rachel, the Bnei Bilha and the Bnei Zilpa were broken down into 4, because it says the Shvilei Pinchas. Because if you look even closer at the Tefillin Shel Rosh, right after it's broken down to the 4 boxes, you have the section where the box gets tied together. You put the parchments inside the Tefillin, and it's tied together. If you look closely at the top of your Tefillin, you're going to see 12 stitches. You're going to see 12 stitches. You're going to see 12 little holes on the very top where they sew together the tefillin, so it becomes one mitzvah, one box, one holy mitzvah. So what do they do? It's there's 12 stitches. So I was thinking, we have these 12 stitches are here to fix the sin of the Mechirat Yosef, the snitches, the ditches. We want to fix it with these 12 stitches, these 4 boxes, ultimately tying it all together, trying to get to a united Jewish people, trying to make it that those 12 rocks become one rock under his head. Shabbat Shalom.